So yeah, the question you've all been waiting for. How did it get so successful?
Got to a bitch and I don't listen to vinyl, cause all these bitches cry for dollars and diamonds. Yeah, they just want the money, don't even know me. You think you got it on me, why don't you show me?
Welcome back to Boom, guys. This is a different video. It's not clickbait whatsoever. This is 100% true. All of this happened. But we want to tell you about the first song that Thomas, aka 1UP, made and how it got over 1 million streams on all platforms.
Yeah, all of us made it.
But yeah, we're all part of the song. But Thomas is the main artist. H is the producer. Lloyd features. I had a very small part in it. I'm background vocal.
Wait a second, small part? You were the reason to say it.
But yeah, we just want to tell you the story. We think it's a cool story. But yeah, I'll let y'all.
I guess I'll start it off. I lived in Baylor. H was also living in Baylor. Case was living in Baylor. You were in the University of Denver at the time, right? Yeah. Anyway, I didn't know who H was really. I would hear a few of his things. Months kind of went by, and then like I started to hear more of his stuff, and I was like, okay, this guy's like definitely starting to get really good. I really need to meet this guy. But it's like simple little things, like the mixing of songs, just the volume of like literal like an MP3 file. It sounds like a joke now, but it's a legitimate thing that a lot of artists and people who make music have a problem with. H always had the best mixes. Every song that I heard from H, whether I liked the beat or not, it's always the better song, just because he always mixed it better than anyone I had ever heard of. So I was like, you know what, God, I was like, I need to meet this guy.
And a little bit of backstory, like before this, like Thomas, Lloyd, and I have known each other for a long time, and I knew Arya in high school. Arya grew up with H, so that's how I met H. Is a few years ago, Arya introduced me to H. It was actually at one of Arya's shows at Texas State. I met H, and I started making music with H, and I was like, wait, like Thomas needs to meet H. He was like definitely the most talented artist I knew, like between him and Arya for sure. Both of them were like the most talented in Waco. So it's like, why isn't Thomas not making music with H?
So one day I get a text from Case, and he's just like, hey, are you free today? I want to bring my friends by the studio. And I was like, yeah, whatever, I'm free. He's like, we just want to like around, like make something. And I think he had maybe played me Thomas's music once or twice, but I didn't remember it at the time, and I didn't even put together in my head that it was the same person. So he just shows up one time with Thomas, then Lloyd came by a few minutes later, and they're just like, all right, let's make a beat. So yeah, we got started on the song that would become Vinyls. We actually made the majority of that song the very first night we ever met. But to clarify, because we're gonna show you guys in a minute, I had no idea that Thomas was talented, to be frank. I thought this was like a, hey, let's go to the studio and just mess around.
And that's kind of my fault, because I phrased it like, hey, we're just gonna come mess around. So H kind of thought I was bringing friends over and they just wanted to like mess around in a studio.
Yeah. And I also want to throw in, not because this adds much to the story, but it's quite hilarious. When I heard H's music and I heard what he did, and then I walked into H's house and this face was like, hey, I'm the guy making all this music. I was like, I'm sorry, I'm looking for the guy named H. I don't know who. Yeah, this man right here was the one pumping out the amazing music at the time. But anyway, no, so we all go to H's house. H kind of thinks it's like not really a joke, but we're just kind of hanging out making music just as friends sort of thing. And then literally we make one beat, which was Vinyls. I get on and do some like freestyle vocals onto it.
The thing that ended up being the hook for Vinyls was probably like the second, third, fourth take. It was very early.
H thought it was a whole joke until he heard the melody.
Yeah, and then I was like, we were like, run that one back there.
Yeah,
on my beat.
I distinctly remember like after Thomas had recorded the hook and we were just playing it back, listening to it. And like you kind of get stuck in like when you're making music, you don't really know how good it is. You have to kind of disconnect yourself. But I went up and like went to the bathroom and like shut the door, and I like couldn't really hear the music. And I was just thinking, I was like, man, like I might be tripping, but that was really good. And like finish going to the bathroom, whatever, walk out of the bathroom and like hear it again after that like 45-second break, and I was like, oh no, this is like really good.
I think this is kind of the dopest part of the story is probably like a week after they met, H had to move out of his house. And H, he couldn't find the right place because he wanted to have like a home studio and stuff like that. And so H ended up having to move into an extended stay hotel room. And Thomas and I would go to that hotel room like 3 times a week. Vinyls was actually finished in a hotel room.
I do remember what I was gonna say. The first time we all got together, we walked in and we make this one song. We literally were just kind of goofing around. I had not released music on all platforms before, and so we're literally like goofing off in this room for the first time, and we had no idea that this song was going to later in life blow up to this absolute like magnitude that like, if I would have known that like this song would be as big as it is now when we were making it, I would have absolutely lost it. Because as an artist who doesn't have any sort of clout, clout, whatever you want to call it, like numbers, like, you know, 10,000 streams is a lot to you at the moment. Like if you release a song and you get 10,000 streams, you're like, wow, this is crazy. Or like 50,000. Like don't even ask about 100,000. Like that's just an incredible feeling. And here we are, we're sitting here and it has like probably close to 2 million if you add it on all platforms. Regardless, point of the story is it was a natural, just, you know, we're getting together, having fun, making this organic song, doing things the way we want to, and naturally it just kind of went to where it is now. It wasn't like we were sitting here like we're making the next big hit sort of thing.
Okay, so this is the Vinyls FLP.
It's pretty rough.
Disclaimer, how long ago was this?
Several years. So it started out with this guitar sample. Funny story, we actually found the dude who made this guitar sample, and I was like, yo, you have a song that has like over 1 million plays. And he's like, dude, cool. And I was like, okay. All right, so this is the original. I'm not gonna stretch it. This was time stretched and like pitched differently, but. And then there were these random percussions. And we get into the gem of the beat, these hi-hats. Y'all ready for this? This is a successful song, by the way.
Yeah.
The beat on. Oh no. And then a few days later, I thought that the beat needed some extra sauce, so I thought I'd record my own vocal sample. Okay, a little weird by itself. With the melody though. Yeah, so that was the beat, and I can't find the original FLP, but just to illustrate how much of a joke this was, legitimately, I initially had a version of this before Thomas was like, no, I'm actually trying to do a song here, where on the drop, it was a sample of Waka Flocka going, Waka! Flocka! So yeah, the question you've all been waiting for, how did it get so successful?
All right, so how
Thomas, you added some firebombs?
How could this have possibly reached millions of streams? The dying question. So basically, I was in my bed one night and I was subscribed to this really big YouTube channel with like almost 500,000 subscribers. This channel was getting millions and millions and millions of views every single week. I don't want to say exactly who it is. If you do your research a little bit, it won't be hard to find because I'm very easily connected to it because this channel is so big. But long story short, this guy was trending for gaming channel every single week. It wasn't every video, but every single week he would have at least one video that was literally on the trending list of YouTube. So anyway, I'm in my bed one night and I'm just as a fan, subscriber of his, I'm watching his channel, and I think he mentioned, I don't know if it was in the description or at the end of one of his videos, he just said, hey, like, I'm looking for intro, outro music. If any of my subscribers makes music, hit me up, send me your music. I'd be interested to hear it and kind of evaluate it, see if I want to use it for my intro, outro, whatever. This was, how long after we released Vinyls was this? It was a minute.
It was probably four and a half months or so after the song had come out.
Yeah, it was probably like four and a half, almost half a year after we had released Vinyls on all of the platforms. I see this, and so I just kind of shot my shot. I mean, I didn't think anything of it. I really just emailed him off my phone, you know, with the whole sent from iPhone tag at the end. I was like, hey man, like, this is a song that I did, like, we released it, you know, whatever, half a year ago, like, thank you for checking this out. I hope you're interested. I hope, you know, whatever, you use it for your intro or outro, whatever. This channel's so big that I did not even think twice about this. Like, I literally was like a fan of this channel.
At the time, this dude was averaging probably 800K views a video.
Yeah, it was something like 700, something crazy. Like, this is one of the biggest.
With many videos over 1 million views.
Yeah, and he posts daily, every single day. Anyway, so I send this message and I'm thinking to myself, I didn't even think of it twice. I was like, it was just one of those things where like you just do for fun, you know, it's like winning the lottery essentially. I was just like, didn't think of it. And like a week or a week and a half later, he emailed me back and he was like, bro, like, I love this. Like, this is crazy. He was like, I don't know if I'm gonna use it for my intro necessarily, but like, I'm gonna try to squeeze this for like my outro. Like, I love what you're doing, all this kind of stuff. And I mean, literally he just hit me back, and it was like, it wasn't even like a week. Like, he told me initially, it was like, yeah, give me a couple weeks, I'll make like an outro or something for it. But then like within the week, I mean, it must have been like 3 or 4 days, he made the outro and he was like, yo, go check the latest video. And like, sure enough, like our song was on it. And I mean, the first video he posted probably got 500,000 or 600,000 views. And like, ever since then, it's just been going up. And I've been on the outro of this YouTube channel ever since. I still have songs on it. Now it's No Manners, which is our latest song that we released
5 months ago.
Yeah, which was 5 months ago. We need to release more music. But anyway, that's pretty much it as far as that story goes.
Yeah, so we kind of wanted to make this at least somewhat educational, because we don't want it to just be like, how do you get millions of streams? Get lucky, because it's not completely that.
Yeah.
There are things we did that kind of helped that. There are things that we did wrong that we wish we would have done differently. But I want to talk about like do's and don'ts when it comes to like artists and producers and anyone who makes music, trying to get your music out there. I guess we should start with don'ts. One thing we wish we had done differently is the intro is mad long. If you're going for a single or a hit, if it's a song you're dropping by itself and you're like, I'm trying to get people's attention with this, do not have a 50-second intro. We would send this song to people sometimes and they never got past the intro, because the song starts getting really good when the hook drops, but it's 50 seconds into the song. So there was tons of people who heard the intro and were like, I mean, this is kind of cool, but whatever. Another thing is like, there were certain parts of this song where we did a really cool rough vocal take and we didn't want to write to it because we couldn't find lyrics that fit exact vocal, and we just kind of left the rough take in. It definitely came back to bite us in some parts, because there's some parts where it literally just sounds like he's not speaking English. We got hella comments like, what on earth are you saying at this part? And the legitimate answer is he was literally mumbling and we couldn't find words that fit that flow. So definitely be careful with that. Like, it can work for some artists, and if you're one of those people, don't be scared to do it, but like, get a good take. If you have to come back the next day, if you have to come back 3 days from then, if you have to let your voice rest, whatever you have to do, get a good take.
I wanted to talk about a couple do's, and H probably is a better person to talk to about this, but I think coming from my perspective as an artist is almost more like realistic, because artists are the ones who seem to struggle with this the most. Mixing your song, I know we kind of touched on this a little bit already, but mixing your song to me is literally the difference between a listenable song and a not listenable song. And that's coming from me as an artist, and I say this because I used to make music that was not mixed well, and I got comfortable with it. And that's just a thing that happens when you're an artist and you make music by yourself. You get comfortable with how your vocals sound, you get used to it, you start to listen to it on your earbuds or your headphones, and you get used to how like they sound, and you're like, okay, this is good or whatever. It's not. I promise you it's not. If it's your first time or you're new to it, it does not sound like how good it could be, and it is not that hard to get that way. I'm not gonna sit here and act like I'm a professional mixing engineer, because I'm not.
But we have a professional mixing
that's
engineer.
what H does, and I am lucky that I have access to H, and he will mix my vocals and music for me. But if you don't have access to someone like H like I do, you need to either find a mixing engineer who can mix your songs or learn how to mix.
Let me jump in real quick. I will say this. Learning how to mix is hard, and I don't want to discourage anyone from doing it, but you really should only be learning how to mix if you want to mix. Especially if you're like an up-and-coming person and you have school and you have work. You do not have enough time to get really good as an artist and really good as a mix engineer and work and go to school and do whatever you're going to. One of them is going to suffer. I did not get really good until I stopped working full-time and stopped going to school, because there isn't enough time to get great at both. So if you're an artist, if you're just starting out, as soon as you start taking stuff seriously and you want to release music, get a mix engineer. It really, there are people who are pretty freaking good who can definitely make your song listenable. It will charge like $30, $40, $50 a song. That should be the first money you put into a song. Do not spend money on promotion on a song that you have not got mixed by someone who knows what they're doing. A well-mixed song makes people think your song is better. There's some good places. Reddit is good. There's always people on Reddit on like the making hip-hop, trap production, all those subreddits. Soundbetter.com is a place to look for mix engineers. Google, see a studio nearby you. There's some studios that aren't that expensive that you can just go per hour and it includes mixing. Get your songs mixed, please.
The other thing I was gonna say after mixing, I still hold mixing as the most important priority in terms of making professional sounding music or whatever. We all know of artists that we are not very fond of, or celebrities that like get big and then they make a rap song or whatever, and just because they're big and they make a catchy song, it's like, okay, this is good. But the only reason we all think it subconsciously sounds good is because it's mixed, I promise.
They paid somebody a pretty good amount.
But the other thing I was gonna say, you have to keep working on your craft. I can't tell you how many, almost every artist or anyone who starts making music for the first time and then they like hear that first like auto-tune catch that like they really like, they're like, oh my god, I'm amazing, I'm so good, everyone that hears this is gonna love this sort of thing. And it's quite frankly just not true. You have to like learn, repeat, keep trying different things. Don't be afraid to go out of your comfort zone. Find your sound. People sound better in different genres. When I listen to my music from years ago, even Vinyls is a big song and it's my biggest song and it's my most popular song. When I listen to Vinyls, I literally am thinking to myself like, oh my gosh, like that's what I sounded like that's what we did sort of thing. And it's not a bad thing because people like that music, but it's good that I'm always trying to take that next step. I'm always saying, hey, like what can I work on or how can I get better? And it's only through consistency. H and I live literally next door to each other. We record every single week. I'm an artist, but I make beats as well. I try to involve myself in the different areas of music. I've made over 100 beats just by myself with no help, just me, you know, sort of getting the idea of music, melodies, music theory, chord progressions, all of these different things that will just, at the end of the day, whether I'm not the best producer in the world, like it still will add to what I can 100%. Do as an artist, how I can perform, and just
it's
things
so
like
helpful
that.
For artists who understand the process. You don't have to be an expert, but if you're an artist and you understand the general process of how making a beat goes, how mixing goes, it helps you communicate with the people around you, which is a huge thing that like, I can't even like, the amount of sessions I've had with artists and they have like an effect in their mind and they can't even describe it to me because they don't know what reverb is. And like for people who've been making a music for a while, that's like, dude, that's like day one, that's like addition, subtraction. But like, it's not, you have to think about like, some people get into music from nothing. So learning that stuff as an artist helps you communicate, which is gonna get you better sessions with producers, better sessions with engineers, because you're all speaking the same language and you're not like, hey, can you do that thing where there's like an echo and then it's like you're in a bathtub and then it's like you're underwater and it's like, I kind of get what you're saying, but it's so much easier to be like, hey, can you put a big reverb on it with a delay and then like cut off some high end? Like that makes communication so much easier. And so getting into those processes as an artist really, really is beneficial.
One thing I do want to mention is we get this asked every single video. Props to H, but we try to comment to all the people asking it, but I want to throw it in the video. We are going to do a, well, it's really going to be H, but the Blue Room is going to do a vocal mixing tutorial when we hit 10,000 subscribers. It is
10K.
It is a sort of a long ways in the distance. We all believe that we can achieve it, and with your help, we definitely will be able to. But for anyone asking, hey, how do you mix these vocals? How do you get your vocals to sound like this? We will tell you, but we want to wait until we get to 10,000 subscribers. So it's the faster we get to 10,000 subscribers, the faster y'all are gonna get that tutorial.
I don't necessarily want to say we will tell you because I'm gonna explain in the video, but it's not as easy as just throwing a preset on. Don't think that you're gonna watch one video from me and turn into f***ing Mike Dean, but it will help a lot of people. It will get you to a listenable standard. Fucking SEO.
Your name.
Oh, my name.
Oh, people ask about that, yeah.
Okay, so my name is One Up, and no one, I feel like, knows why my name is One Up. I guess I shall reveal why my name is One Up. My grandfather on my mother's side passed away when I was very, very young. I never got to meet him. Obviously, I love my parents, and so I kind of, my grandfather's name is Mario. My middle name is Mario. I was named after him. The One Up is sort of Mario's power up. I say it gives him an extra life, and so I name my artist name in remembrance,
in memoriam,
of my grandfather. That's why I'm One Up. My middle name is Mario. One Up is Mario's power up.
Hey, Mario, nice.
One more thing I do want to cover, and it's probably the biggest lesson you can take away from this, is shoot your shot. Obviously, you're not gonna hit all of them. Obviously, if your mixing sucks or your beats suck or however, you might not get the first shot. It's gonna take years, it's gonna take practice. Collectively, we've been making music for a long time. If you're counting all the time before we were releasing stuff that you're just practicing. We've been making music a long time, and it was years into it until we started really getting traction. But shoot your shot. You never know when you're gonna hit it. Shoot your shot at every opportunity. Get better. Shoot your shot again. Get better. Shoot your shot again. One of these times, it's gonna go in. You're gonna get some boost. You're gonna get some traction going.
I mean, when vinyls released, we sent to like 50 playlists.
Yeah, that's the
When
thing.
vinyls was released,
more than that. It was probably like 200
We
people
sent it to
that to.
hundreds and hundreds of people. None of them worked out. The one that did was me sitting in my bed emailing some guy on a random like Tuesday night. Then it, you know, took off to where it is now. But anyways, subscribe, turn the bell on, push notifications turned on. I want every single person watching this video to get a notification when we release videos, and you do that by clicking the bell. So please tap that bell, subscribe to the Blue Room, and we'll catch you in the next one.
And here's vinyls if you want to listen to it.
Now here's vinyls.
And I don't